What's going on, everybody? Been a while since I've been on the YouTube. It's been about almost 3 years, coming up on 3 years anyhow. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Right now I'm about to get started on the black truck. It's no longer my truck. This truck is actually belongs to my mom now. Sold it to her, and probably a few months back in June or July, I sold it to her. I was needing to get into a bit of a larger truck, and so I was gonna sell it. I was gonna put it up for sale, and yeah, my mom told me, well, I want to keep it in the family, and she said I want to buy it, so I sold it to her. It's now her truck, but the reason I've got it here today is to try to fix the door. I've put Doorman hinge pins and bushings, and still, you know, that's the result. I've never had any success with those. I've probably put three or four of those kits over the years, and I've had this truck for at least 18 years. And so what I ended up doing was buying the Cunningham machine pins and bushings, and also the roller pin. Before I get into all of that, I just kind of want to talk about you know, what I've been up to. I guess it's not a whole lot. There've been changes in my life, but I think you know, I'm picking up the camera and I think I'm ready to start filming again. So right quick, this is the truck that I ended up getting. It's a 2002 Chevy Silverado. Those are wheels actually from my mom's other truck. She's got a 2016 Silverado. She ended up getting some 20s, and I did some work for her, and she gave these to me. Haven't really done anything to it besides maybe the grill. I got a grill from a Tahoe. It's the full chrome grill, where the truck grill is normally a black plastic right here. I do have plans for it, but maybe down the road. Cowl induction hood, you know, painted to match along with the roof, because they're both peeling. They look terrible. Aside from that, I still have Big Red. The transmission is out right now. I pulled it out the other day, probably about a week ago. It'd been kind of messing up on me, so I decided to pull it out. I've got a shift kit for it, a rebuild, kind of an overhaul, not a full rebuild. It's right here. There's a torque converter down there. But yeah, so what am I trying to say? The job for today is going to be the pins and bushings, which here they are. They even sent a sticker, Cunningham machine. 2 pins, the 4 bushings, and the roller pin. So yeah, the tools that I'm going to be using is a spring compressor. There's a 13mm wrench for to tighten that screw hammer. And I believe I need the cutoff wheel, because I was checking this out, and that roller pin looks like somebody has done some custom work trying to keep it intact or something. I don't know what happened there, but this thing is busted for sure. So let me set y'all up on a tripod. I'm gonna get started here, taking the wiring off, disconnecting it, and then I'll punch out these pins, move the door out, and my recommendation is roll down the window for sure. And if you got I'm gonna use my transmission jack because it's got a bigger plate. And yeah, so I only got a little bit of a couple hours left of daylight, so I'm gonna get started, set you up on a tripod maybe. So all right, let me get started. Okay, so I got that plug. It was actually 2 plugs, pretty simple. Got them unplugged. The next order of business is supporting the door with a jack. Like I said, I'm going to use my transmission jack. I've used regular jacks before, and the door tends to become off balance and just a chore just to handle. These doors, they can be really heavy, so I'm going to support it. I'm going to knock these pins out, and then I can remove the door. So the first pin on the top is going to be knocked out from the top. Not the best hammer. Probably best to use some sort of punch or long screwdriver. Forgot about the spring. Still gonna need the tool to reinstall it. Get ahead of myself. Ain't no wonder it didn't want to come out. All right, there's the first pin. And now for the second one. All right, now for the bottom pin, so you can get a closer look. I already kind of knocked it up, knocked it loose. Stick that in there. All right, there's the other pin. Let me set y'all back up on the tripod. Well, we'll get back to this here in a second. Had to work the door a little bit, but there's the second pin. I believe now I can remove the door. Now this is the whole reason for lowering the window before you unplug it. Now we can get a good grip on picking it up. I can't even find a way to pick it up. All right. So I don't believe, yeah, you can tell. Somebody put a weld on there. It was already busted, and they might as well have just replaced this pin. It probably would have helped the door. But that's why we're here. I got the new parts today. Hoping that these new bushings will do the trick and finally fix this door. All right, I guess I'm gonna try to cut this little weld here. That's the only way to, if I can bust this weld, this piece will come out. Hopefully we can hammer this other piece, because there's not a lot of room to get in here to try to cut that. although I may try anyway. All right, so I had to cut this piece. This was, can I remember the top? And then I cut into it, and I finally ground some of this. I cut into the actual bracket. I guess I'll have to just scuff that and spray some primer on it. But this piece is about to come out. And there it is. All right, now for the bushings. Yeah, those weren't too bad. Yeah, these bushings weren't really all that bad, but maybe it was the pin fitment too. Maybe it wasn't that great. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and install the roller pin. It's a little different, I guess, from I guess you got to start this. Not sure how this works. I put a little grease on the outer edge. Well, I guess I'll have to drive it up a little bit. I don't want to have to hammer on it, but there it goes. I guess you just drive it in enough to be able to thread it in. And hopefully tighten it the rest of the way, I guess. This is the first time I've installed one of these, so it's about as new to me as it is to anybody who's never done it as well. Well, it's already bottomed out. I guess I should stop right there. So yeah, it's already hit bottom right here. There it is, it's installed. And the next thing I'll do is go ahead and install these the bushings on the body, and then the next will be for the door. Now if you've never changed out pins and bushings, a good thing to note is that there's two different sizes. A larger size for the base of the pin, which is right here, and then the smaller bushing is for the top. So on the body it's going to be these two, and then these two. So you got your larger and then your smaller. On the door you'll have your larger on the top, the smaller in the bottom. On the body is going to be the larger on the bottom, and then the smaller up top. Alright, so I already started these just by hand. Remember, the small one up top and the larger at the bottom. So I would say probably use something like a brass hammer. I don't have one, so I'll have to use maybe a block of wood. Okay, that one's seated. If there's one thing I learned from the Doorman bushings is don't hit it directly with the hammer. Now I wouldn't compare these to the Doorman. These are supposed to be higher quality. I did pay quite a bit for these, but it's an investment, and I'm hoping, like I was saying earlier in the video, this is gonna completely fix the door sag. So all right, those are installed. Okay, so remember that now on the door hinge, you're gonna put the larger bushing up top and the smaller one on the bottom. If you can still fit your fingernail, it's not seated. There. Okay, it's ready to go back on. All right, so everything is ready to reassemble, and I'm just hoping hoping and praying that this will be the final time that I've got to do this for a very long time. So, and if not, if it still ends up sagging, then I'll know for certain that that it could potentially be one of these brackets that's hanging loose. It's misaligned somewhere. I may have to just remove one of the, maybe off the door, that bottom hinge, and which that's that's quite a bit of work. So, but anyway, I'll quit yapping, and I'll get this door put back on. Okay, so here's the pins. Those are the clips that go on the tops here. I'm gonna go ahead and get to installing them. I got the door lined up, got the wiring plugged in. I got to tuck it back in, but it's about ready to go in. Just make sure that this little piece here is in there and not sticking way out here when you put the door in. I've made that mistake, so I'll set you up on the tripod. I'm gonna get these pins driven back in. So just remember, this one goes from goes like this, facing upwards, and it'll go straight through the bottom. And this wiring harness is kind of gonna, might give you a little trouble, but you just got to get the pin behind it. Now this pin will face down and it'll go straight down. If you go behind this boot, it helps out a whole lot. Alright, so just make sure they're both seated. At this point, you can lower the jack. The last thing is to place these clips over this ridge on the pin. There's that one. Well, I will say, in my opinion, that installation was easier than even the Doorman. The last thing for me to do is put the spring in. Let me show you what I've done. So there's the clip that I was talking about. There's the roller pin. And there's that other pin I was talking about, the other clip, I mean. Kind of hard to see, but so as wide as this spring is, you're gonna want to open this tool up. This is a good investment here, especially if you own more than one OBS. So you stick that in there. Just make sure that it's in there secure. You don't want it flying out while you're compressing it. Just like that. And then you'll start compressing it. It takes a 13mm. And you just compress it. Till it won't no more. And be sure to point it away from you, for sure. All right there, it stopped. Now this is gonna go, there's a knob on the door, not sure. It's not gonna pick it up. Let me get some light in there. All right, so I got a lot of what do you call it, slack. Anyhow, a lot of people complaining the last time I did something without showing them exactly what it was that I had done. So the spring is in here, still compressed, and on this nut here, I'm loosening it with a 13mm. You just got to make sure that it stays put as you loosen it. So let's see if I can do this with 2 hands. Yeah. Make sure you got your ratchet wrench in the right direction. And like I said, make sure it doesn't slip out of there. Yep, tightening it. All right. Well, I tried. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen it. I can't really hold the camera and this tool, so I'll show you what it looks like afterward. Okay, I got the spring in. Let me show you guys how it looks. So there's the spring. All right, guys. Last thing, do not forget about your electrical. Get it hooked up, get the boot fitted. All right, this is truly the first test. I've not even shut it myself to see how it's gonna do, so let's give it a try. Body line's not the best. I feel like it's still gonna need, and maybe it's the striker, I don't know. Maybe if I adjust the striker, it'll help it as well. Line up that body line. Guess what I'm gonna say about this this product, Cunningham machine. I do like the quality of the parts that I got, and I was actually really excited to replace that roller pin right in here, because that other piece had been broken, and I'd seen that big chunk of weld on there before. But anyhow, I do like the quality of it. I'm glad I was able to install it before it got dark. But I appreciate everybody watching. This is my first video coming back. Hopefully I'm gonna do my best to here in January put out a video maybe once a week, possibly every Sunday. I'll see what I can put out. Let me know in the comments what y'all want to see, you know, maybe some ideas. Like I say, I still got Big Red. I'm gonna be redoing the transmission once again, and my blue truck as well. I'll probably do a few things. It's mainly a truck that I take out of town, and yeah, but there's a few things like, you know, a hardtop bed cover, a foldable style, possibly a bed liner, just a number of things that I would like to do. I guess we'll see in the future what I will be able to do. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.